now is just open for questions. If there's someone specifically you'd like to ask a question to, just raise your hand and we'll call on you and do that. Probably have, I don't know, 15 minutes or so we can spend on that. If you have a general question, toss it out there and the panel will take it. Jim?
I was going to ask
Yeah.
Mr. Stevens about what were the big arguments about when it resulted in prayer and calming down.
Well, I suppose that's a good question. Let me see if I can do it this way. Some of the arguments were arguments that people have when they get together and bring a point of view that they're wedded to, whatever that point of view. Not particularly substantive, just about me. And that happens in any organizations that you're in. So there were elements of those from time to time. There were differences of emphasis because some of our people are Anglo-Catholic, some of our people are evangelical, some of our people are more charismatic. But the pull of the tug was to maintain the balance between the evangelical and the Anglo-Catholic approaches. And there was the thing that satisfied me so much with it was that it wasn't a matter of compromising beyond belief and giving up something hard-held simply to get accommodation and agreement. These things were talked through, they were processed, language was massaged to the point where it was acceptable to those who didn't agree initially.
Did it have anything to do with the ordination of women?
Ordination of women did not raise much of a issue with the governance committee. The ordination of women was dealt with in the early days of the Common Cause Partners, and the issue of women's ordination was handled then when the Common Cause Partners came together, and the idea of the two positions being held respectfully, each for the other, and the idea of being able to live in two integrities and honor two integrities was early adopted by the group, and so that issue was not revisited.
Nor the male bishop.
The male bishop was not. Well, the male bishop was discussed, and was a matter of specific decision, as you know from reading the Constitution canons. And there was no, I saw no pushback or disagreement, or I want the record to show that I don't agree with that. We didn't have that. This is a church where the ordination or the consecration of women to the episcopate is something that this church will in due course, in a conciliar manner, deal with. Just as it will in due course, in a conciliar manner, deal with the issue of the ordination of women. This church has every intention ultimately to do that in a manner which has not been done in the church in which we are.
We could move on. I saw Chris had a question here.
Yes, Chris Sugden, Evangelicals Now, and reporting for London Times Online.
Welcome.
You all have experience of the constitutions and the legal processes of the Church of Canada and the Episcopal Church. How has the constitution that you have devised put in place any processes to stop this church going down the road that those two churches have gone down?
Who would like to take that?
I'd like to take it if I can. I like that question.
Well,
Let's see if I can figure out an answer. No. This new church, the Anglican Church in North America, has concluded two very significant things in that respect. First, we have adopted a high court. There is a provision for the provincial tribunal. Now that's something that is not experienced in the church from which we all come. There is no provincial tribunal. There is no ultimate court. And that was designed purposely to have a way to deal with the issues that come forth. Additionally, it seems to me important to say that, and this is more a canonical matter than it is a constitutional matter, but that what these documents will do is take away from the church the ability to allow its bishops to go sideways theologically. And my friend the Chancellor is going to wince a little when I do this. I do this to him all the time. To take away from our bishops the chance to protect one another from sliding theology. That just isn't, the way these are structured, that the protections of the Episcopal Church are not here. The protections of the Episcopal Church are not here.
The protections to what?
To the bishops, and generally to the issues of heresy. Those issues are far more easily put forth and dealt with than has been true in the church in which we've come.
Kevin, you had a question?
Kevin Carlson, Anglican TV. In the Constitution or canons, I see a couple compromises. What would you say was the biggest compromise?
Who would like to take that? Or could you speak a little bit more about what you mean by compromise?
Well, I noticed in terms of bishops, there's kind of a provision from one of the new provinces not to have their bishops qualified by all bishops and stuff like that. Is that the biggest compromise, or is there other that we haven't, that we don't know about?
Well, the election of bishops goes 2 ways.
Sure.
You have the best ring.
The diocese may elect a bishop, or the diocese may nominate 3 persons, and the college of bishops will select the bishop. And that follows, I think, an Anglican tradition that is observed, particularly in some of the African provinces. So it's flexible, the options are there. When you say compromise, that sometimes
I was
that's kind of.
quoting Steve Wicks there. He used the word compromise
Well,
2 answers ago.
I didn't use it, well, I did not use it as an affirmative thought that compromise was made. That's really what we got away from. It wasn't like, well, you want to be here and I want to be here, so we'll end up here in the middle. It was talk it through and figure out what made sense for everybody. So it wasn't, compromise was not a good word, Kevin, for me to use. It was more, it was process rather than compromise, if I could make that change.
Yes, I'd also like to say that I don't see this as an issue of compromise. I think you have to recognize what we're doing is bringing together existing groups who are already working within a jurisdiction and under certain constitutional documents. And what we want to do is not prevent them from coming together by setting hard and fast rules, which requires everybody to wind up their previous organizations. What we want to do is say, how do we come together in mission and ministry? And it's not a compromise so much as accommodating everyone else's systems. This is going to change over time as we work together and gain trust with one another more. We will find this Constitution and the canons will change over time, and I hope that they will improve to bring us into a single jurisdiction 100%. I mean, that's the goal. But at this point in time, it's very important that we focus on the main thing.
I think in this process, there were 2 factors. The first was my assessment that there was an absolute commitment on the part of everybody that was selected to serve to be sure that whatever they did, they were going to serve this new province. They were going to do the Lord's work and not let their own views get in the way. And that to be able to start like that, and when I tell you that the remarkable event is that this thing had its origins June a year ago, and didn't really get going until October, that bring us here today, is quite remarkable. And one of the other factors that we've not mentioned yet is that at each of our meetings, we had intercessors, and they were there the entire time, and they were very quiet, but we could feel their presence and what they were doing. And that got us through some of the rough spots.